Hi, Dr. Jayanti ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi Sai.
Just a couple of minutes. We'll start in a while. Hi, Saadia. This is Sahil from the Galvanize team. Yeah,
Hi, good morning or good
good.
evening, guys. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So you're able to hear us, right?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Okay. So I'll hand over the stage to Ms. Jayanti Ramakrishnan, who heads the admissions and the servicing at Galvanize.
Okay, sounds good.
Hi Sadia. Hope you're doing
Hello.
well.
Yes, how are you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We have a very interesting session today and a very special guest. So, let me start the session without any delay. So, basically, in today's session, we are going to give you a lot of information about how you can, start your study abroad process, what kind of research you need to do, what kind of profile building activities are needed, and specifically we will focus a little more on the research part of the profile that is needed, very much in need for students who are planning to study abroad. Okay, so just to give you a brief introduction about Galvanize, here at Galvanize we provide end-to-end personalized solutions for students who are planning to study abroad, either for your undergrad program or for their postgraduate masters, PhD, or MBA programs. We help our students with profile building. We help them with test preparation. So, the various standardized tests that you need to take for study abroad, we'll help you with that. And we'll also help you with the entire admissions process. Our company has been founded and managed by alumni from Stanford, IIT Madras, and IIM Ahmedabad. Just to give you a little more information about us, we have help students from about more than 65 plus countries with various aspects of their study abroad journey, either for test prep or for admissions. And we have made sure that they have been able to go to the universities of their dream in more than 18 plus countries, and some of those countries are listed here. You can check out information about us on Quora, read the nice feedback and testimonials that we have got from our alumni. Okay, so before I introduce the host, let's take a quick poll. I know that most of you have joined here, are probably interested or want to get information. I just want to get an idea about the audience. How many of you are interested seriously in pursuing your higher education abroad? This is just out of curiosity that we are taking this poll. So please take a couple of seconds to answer this poll. Yeah, I see that most of you are picking very interested and it's a strong possibility. So I think that is great. The great first step that you have taken is to join a session like this where you will get information. Okay, I think, yeah. Okay, so I see that most of you, 60% of you are, very much interested, and there is a strong possibility. So that's great that you're exploring options that you have, and that is always a good thing to do. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so just a quick information about myself. I myself have a PhD from the University of Tennessee in the US. I've worked in various fields. I've been a faculty at a college. I've worked in curriculum assessments and things like that. I also have a strong teaching background in math. And for the last 6 years, I've been working with Galvanize, helping students, counseling students, helping them with their university admissions process, the study abroad process, and so on. Let me go ahead and introduce our main guest for today. So Saadia is currently a PhD candidate at Princeton University. It's a very interesting topic that she's working on. She's working on in gender and sexuality with Francophone literature and film. So that is definitely a very different and niche field that she's doing. She has experience in college admissions from Mount Holyoke College, and she's also working with one of our research partners, Lumiere. So she'll be talking, mainly focusing on how research is important to build your profile when you are targeting admissions in the top universities and even the Ivy League schools as well as the top universities. So she'll give you all that information today. So please make sure that you're noting down. And if you do have any questions, we will have a question answer session towards the end. We also have some pre-questions that we got from our students already. So we'll also be asking those to Saadia and she'll be answering them. So in the end, we will have a short Q&A session as well. So welcome, Saadia, and please, you can take over and start the session.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this great introduction. Thank you for the invitation to be here. I'm really excited to speak with your students and to learn a little bit more about them as well. Like you said, I am working with one of your partners, Lumiere, and we are a research organization that was founded by two PhD candidates, Dhruva and Stephen. And the goal was to really just get students access to research opportunities, regardless of the location they're in and regardless of sort of their backgrounds and interests. So the goal is to really just provide more access to these opportunities that are often kept only for US-based students or for PhD candidates or master's students. And for us, the goal is to provide it to younger scholars and really get them thinking about research opportunities early on. Awesome. Next. Perfect. So this is a picture of me last year presenting my research at a conference. And this is a picture of Princeton University. Like you said earlier in the presentation, I started my education at Mount Holyoke College, which is a small liberal arts college in Massachusetts. It's part of the 5-college consortium with Amherst College, Smith College, UMass Amherst, and other colleges in that area. And I studied economics and French. And then right after finishing my undergraduate studies, I joined Princeton University to begin my PhD. And I have been at Princeton in New Jersey for the past 6 years. And I am right now wrapping up my research and my dissertation so I can graduate with my PhD. Going to an Ivy League institution was definitely a goal of mine, and I wanted to prep myself for it. And thankfully, the opportunities for research that I received within my undergraduate institution are what equipped me to be able to get into Princeton University specifically. And hopefully today's conversation will help you guys think about how you can utilize research to your benefit to stand out in the admission process, either to get into Ivy League institutions or highly qualified or become highly qualified for other institutions, top tier institutions here in the US or elsewhere in the world. Next. Awesome. Before we begin the conversation, I know that I'm throwing this word around a lot in the convo. Before we even get started, I would love to hear from students directly what they define or think research is. What is your definition of research? When you hear this word, what comes to your mind? It doesn't have to be a super elaborate or articulate answer. It can be one word, a few words, a sentence or two. And please drop it in the chat and let's see what you guys are thinking. Don't be shy. And there is no wrong answer. Everyone sees research differently. So do not worry. I'll give you guys about 30 seconds to a minute to think through this. Whenever I work with students in the classroom and I ask a question, they're like, what? We have to participate? So I understand. Take your time to think through it. And I already received a question directly as a message. Akshaya is saying that research is learning about something new. Absolutely. That is definitely one way to think about research. Zuraida's messaging me and saying that for them, it's about collecting, organizing, and understanding information about something you're passionate about. 100%. They say research is me search, and you have to find something that interests you personally so that you can go back to it every day and do it for many years, which has been my experience right now as a PhD candidate. And I'm sure our host also in her studies as a PhD candidate when she was pursuing her PhD can attest to the same. Sid is saying that for them, research is nothing but a process of seeking out knowledge, 100%. Research is also about extracting new knowledge, right? Figuring out new ways to think about information and about knowledge and advancing that field forward. Great. Research is about experimentation, 100%. Research is also about setting out an experiment, testing it out, and seeing if it works, building a hypothesis, and then seeing the results and if they match. Great. I think a lot of the students here are thinking about research in a way that is correct and appropriate. Another student just said that research is the process of engaging oneself into actions and procedures to learn new things that we don't know or something that we are new to. 100%. Research is always supposed to be new, topical, innovative. You want to push the field forward and find new answers to new problems. Great, lovely. I'm so glad that all of you are thinking about research in this manner. So let's go to the next slide. Great. So I did briefly introduce Lumiere, but let me tell you a little bit about what we do as an organization. So yes, we do help students get access to research opportunities, and we help them build relationships with PhD candidates, postdocs, or professors from top 30 universities here in the US. In this process, they work together over a period of time, and I'll introduce to you the different programs that we have. And over this period of time, together they build out a research question, they strategize a research project, they collect and analyze data together, and eventually start writing what we call an independent research paper. This independent research paper is what we deem to be college level quality. And in this particular exercise that all students engage in, they are able to demonstrate not just to themselves, but also to the admission offices when they are applying to colleges and universities, that they are able to think in a way that is innovative, interesting, but they're also able to write for research purposes, which is very, very different from writing for creative purposes or for learning purposes at the high school level. So this type of exercise really demonstrates that the student is advanced and that the student is curious and that the student is pushing beyond just the basic requirements of the high school curriculum. So it definitely makes the admission officers who look at these profiles that come with research background with an interested eye. And I've had conversations with various admission officers from small liberal arts colleges to state schools to Ivy League institutions who say that when they see research as part of the student's profile, they definitely stop and read and try to think about how this research fits within the larger context of the student's interests and the types of added values that they're going to bring to their campus. So it is definitely something that makes them stop and think, which is exactly what you want. You want to stand out. There are thousands and thousands of students who are seeking admission into these top universities, and you do want to stand out as someone who is special, someone who is going to bring a different type of value to their institution in a very different way. And that's the goal for us, is for you to come and work with one of our mentors and to work on something super niche and super interesting to you, and to develop a research paper that really demonstrates how interesting, how creative, and how much of a forward thinker you are. In this process, you also, of course, build an amazing relationship with your mentor, which really mimics what it would be like for you to work with professors at the college level. These PhD candidates, postdocs, and professors who you may work with may also write recommendation letters for you when you are applying to colleges. So it is definitely another added opportunity for you to stand out in the process. Last but not least, you are able to receive college level credit through our program because we do have an affiliation with the University of California, San Diego Extension School. So our programs do count as a college level course. So it's kind of hitting two birds with one stone. You get college credits, you stand out in the admission process, and you also have a great research paper that makes you stand out. Awesome. Hopefully this gives you a great insight into the program. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, just so to give you a sense of how many students we work with. Every year, we work with about 2,000 to 2,400 students. We receive applications from students all around the world. Last year, or this past academic year, we received 4,200 plus applications. We had over 1,400 mentors working with our students, and we recorded over 22,000 mentoring hours on our platform. We had students come to us from 62 countries, and we also awarded financial aid to a large number of them, amounting to $390,000 in financial aid. This past summer, the cohort that we had about 120 students do the program completely for free. So those are just a few numbers to keep in mind to understand the scale of our organization and how many students we work with every year. Next. All right. Before we begin talking a little bit more deeply about research and the opportunities that we have, I want to hear from you directly. If you were to do research at Lumiere with our organization, what would you do your research in? Would it be math? Would it be engineering? Would it be aerospace engineering? It can be very specific or it can be broad. It can also be two fields at once. Interdisciplinary research is definitely one that we encourage and support students in. Oh, someone said they've already done this program. Great. For those of you who have not done the program, if you were to do it, what would it be in? And for the student who has done the program, I would love to hear what your research was about. You can definitely message me directly. All right. A student messaged and said they're interested in physics. Another student said engineering or math. Another student said psychology with economics or just psychology or economics. Another student said AI, biotechnology, biomedical engineering, just general engineering. Great. Politics, commerce with computer science, economics and psychology, biomedical engineering, medicine. Awesome. Great. All of you have such varied interests. And I'm so glad that we have some STEM-oriented students as well as some humanities and social science-oriented students, because we do help students in both those larger fields. So let's go to the next slide. So as you can see here, those are the STEM fields, generally speaking, where our students are doing research. Sometimes they're combining two of them. For instance, we've had students do research in data science and medicine, or computer science and chemistry. So you are able to combine two of them and do interdisciplinary research. Obviously, these are just some of the STEM fields we offer. We have students doing research in more niche areas as well. We also have students doing research in the humanities and social sciences. A lot of people think that research only happens in STEM fields. That is absolutely wrong. Economics, psychology, business, history, philosophy, education, linguistics, gender studies, etc. And students are also able to do interdisciplinary research, combining STEM fields and the humanities. We've had students do AI projects on projects related to education, or projects related to linguistics and AI, or international relations and data science. So there is a way to combine and match your passions together in one single project. So hopefully this gives you a sense of the wide range of opportunities that you are able to explore. Next. Let's talk a little bit about our mentors. Who are these mentors? Like I said earlier, these mentors are coming from top 30 universities. These mentors are coming from schools like Columbia, Princeton, U, Chicago, Cornell, Brown, Oxford, Yale, Harvard, MIT, etc. But of course, it is not limited to just this list that you see here on the screen. Top research universities are also included in our list. Our mentors are at least PhD candidates, so they have passed their qualifying exams to be writing their dissertations and proceed to being doctors. We do not have any master's students or students who just started their PhD programs, because we feel like these students are not at the level yet to work with our students. So while we value and appreciate and respect the level of education these other folks have, for our program specifically, we have limited our mentors to being at least PhD candidates, PhD graduates, postdocs, or professors. So that's the type of mentors you'll be working with. Our mentors go through a lengthy training. They are pedagogically trained, so they know how to work with students and how to teach them. And they have had at least 2 years of teaching experience in the college classroom. So they are not novices. They have worked with college level students, sometimes even high school students and master's students, and they are ready and prepared and super excited to work with high schoolers specifically. Awesome. Next. Great. Now let's look at some mentor profiles. Of course, 1,400 mentors. I cannot show you all of them and all their pictures and all their backgrounds, but I can give you a few that will give you a sense of who you may work with if you were to pick a specific field. So if you are someone who said you're interested in medicine, biological sciences, or biomedical sciences, then maybe Caitlin would be someone you work with, or someone like her with similar profile. She is a PhD from Harvard, and she specializes in cancer genetics, CRISPR gene editing, molecular biology. If you were someone who said you're interested in physics, and I saw a couple of students mentioning that in the chat, Sana would be someone you work with, or someone like her. She earned her PhD from Yale University, and she specializes in astrophysics, specifically cosmology, exoplanet data analysis, and so forth. If you are someone who said economics, then Bhargav from Columbia University might be someone who would work with you, or someone with a similar profile to Bhargav. He specializes in labor economics, law, and applied statistics. Samuel from MIT is someone who works on international affairs, nuclear proliferation, alliance politics, and so forth. So if you're interested in politics or international affairs, Samuel or someone like Samuel may be your mentor. Last but not least, Praise is a mentor in psychology. And if you said psychology in the chat, you are likely to work with Praise. She's a very, very active mentor on our platform, and she has worked with many, many students. Or you may work with someone like her. She earned her PhD from UCLA in clinical psychology, and she focuses on psycho-oncology, clinical psych, and health psychology. Of course, we have mentors in biotechnology, in French, linguistics, law, architecture, so many profiles that I could say stay here all day long showing you. But obviously for the purposes of the presentation, I just picked 5 to give you a sense of the broad range of opportunities and mentors and their expertise. Great. Next. Awesome. So for the programs we offer, we have 4 programs. Each one of them is different in that it leads to a different type of experience or type of goal output. As you can see, the goal output is usually what I tell students to focus on. The first program, it's 3 months and you earn a college level academic paper at the end. The second program, similarly, you write a college level academic paper. It is slightly longer, but you also proceed to publish in your work at a high school or college level journal. It is not guaranteed that you will publish, but about 70 to 75% of our students publish successfully. The fellowship program is the longest program we offer, and it is for students who are interested in going to competitions or fairs. So this is one you should look into if you are someone interested in competitions like MIT Think, Regeneron, ISEF, etc. Last but not least, we have a professor program, a publication program where you end up publishing your work at a college level or high school level journal, and you work with a professor. All the other programs, you would be working with a PhD candidate or a postdoc exclusively. But if a professor is the type of mentor you're looking for, then the professor publication program is what you should be interested in. Great. Hopefully this gives you a sense of the various programs we offer. Let's go to the next slide. Awesome. So our program is not you apply, you get in, right? It is a selective program. About 45% of students who apply will get in. But who are we looking for in terms of the applications? We're looking for students who are academically strong. They are doing well in school and not struggling. If you are struggling in school, then this is probably not the best program for you. You should focus on your academics first. We are looking for students who are good communicators, so folks who are able to maintain and engage in meaningful and strong conversations with their mentors. We're looking for students who are ambitious and hardworking, curious and proactive, and excited to learn. They are driven, they want to do this, and they're not just doing it because their counselors or parents said that it would be a good idea for them to do it. You have to have interest in doing research in order to succeed in it. Next. These are some profiles of some students who were successful in our program. As you can see here, Ojas, Alexandra, and Zunyan all did extremely well in our program. For instance, Ojas, he is from Lynbrook High School, and he did a project related to humanin as a preventative for Alzheimer's disease. And he worked with his mentor, and he was able to write a paper and eventually go on to become the MIT Think competition winner last year. And he was super excited about this opportunity. It is one of the most competitive competitions in the United States. Alexandra is an international student from the International School of Monaco. She did a project on mRNA vaccines as a preventative or as a treatment for breast cancer. And she was able to actually publish her work in the International Journal of High School Research this past year. And her projects opened new opportunities for her in that she got an internship or a research opportunity at Boston Children's Hospital and Harvard Medical School combined. Zunyan is a student from Weston High School, He did a project on government's ability to encourage environmentally friendly actions, and he was able to publish his work at Cornell University's Undergraduate Economic Review. And he even went on to start his own small seaweed farm off of the waters of the Cape Cod in Massachusetts. So students really take their research and expand on it and make it super meaningful for them and open new doors for them. Next. How does the application timeline work? You submit your application, and within 2 weeks, you will receive an interview invitation if you make it to the shortlist of students. Once you interview with our team, in about 2 weeks, if you are accepted in the program, you will receive an acceptance confirmation. And within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll receive your match. You look at your match, their CV, their publication, their background, and if you do accept them as a match, then you begin working with them. If not, if it's not the right person for you, then we're happy to look at a rematch. You're always welcome to also do a 30-minute call with the mentor, just as a meet and greet, and see if it is the right person for you. Let's go to the next slide so I can share with you the deadlines. I think it's coming in a few slides, so I'll talk about the deadlines in a little bit. Let's go back to this conversation about the admission process. Here are some numbers from 23, 24. Sorry for the little typo on the slide. Last year, we had 7 students go to Yale, 9 go to UPenn, 4 to Stanford, 15 to Cornell, 8 to Columbia, and 17 to UC Berkeley. What we noticed from these statistics and the research that we've done on our students is that doing research can help you get into these competitive schools at a 4 times a higher rate than the general rate of acceptance into these universities. So 20% of Lumiere alumni who applied to an Ivy League university or Stanford ended up getting in. So while research is not the only factor in getting them accepted in these universities, it sure did help. And a lot of our students have attested to that in direct conversations and interviews with us. Let's go to the next slide. A lot of students ask me, where can I talk about research in my college application? Well, you can talk about it in the activities section. Usually we recommend that you put it as one of the top 3 activities that you have done in high school. Secondly, you can write about it in a main or supplemental essay if it has been super meaningful and life-changing for you. You want to talk about it and connect the dots with other things you're doing in life or other things that have been meaningful for you that will show and demonstrate to the admission offices that you will bring extreme added value to their campuses. And then last but not least, ask your mentors for recommendation letters or evaluation forms. And that's amazing to put in your CV or in your application. My mentor from Princeton University wrote me a strong recommendation letter about how I am able to work with them independently on a research project. That definitely stands out. So those are a few of the ways that you can use this to stand out, not to mention, of course, if you do end up applying for the college credits, that's always wonderful to add to your portfolio. Let's go to the next slide. Great. So there are a few deadlines coming up if you are interested in doing this program. Winter program has already started or has already passed in terms of the deadline, but we recently opened up Winter 2 cohort. It is not here on this slide, but please take note of it. The Winter cohort, Winter 2 cohort, the application deadline is December 29th, so the end of this month, and you would begin the program on the 15th of January. If you are interested in the spring cohort, the application deadline is the 9th of February, and you can start on the 3rd of March. If you're interested in the summer, there are various application deadlines here, but the earlier you apply, the better, because the availability of mentors shrinks as time passes. And then for the cohort, the first one for the summer, you begin on June 2nd. And then summer 2, the application deadline is the 23rd of June, and you begin in July. Here is my advice for anyone here who is a rising senior next year. Try to start early, winter or spring, especially if you are looking to publish your work in a college level or high school level journal. That can take time. going back and forth between the journal. They're asking you for edits. They're asking you to change this and that. You have to reconsult your mentor. And it usually isn't enough time for you just to do this all in the summer. So if you are looking to apply early decision next fall, my best advice for you is to do the program in the winter or spring. So in the summer, you can just focus on publishing your work. If you are going to be a junior or a sophomore or a freshman next year, then definitely consider the summer program. Why not? Let's go to the next slide. So here is a QR code that you're welcome to scan, and you will find our application link through there. You'll find our website and other information that you may utilize in any way you want. If you have any questions about our program or the application process, or you want to chat with a member of our team, you can also reach out to contacts@lumiere.education. All right, so I have shared all that I have about Lumiere. Happy to engage in a Q&A or take any questions as you guys want.
Yeah. Thanks, Saadia. That was great information. And I'm sure all of us, all the students here got some idea on what kind of research they need to do and why research is important. We do have a few questions that some of our registered students already sent in at the time of registration. So one is, I think you briefly touched upon this at the beginning, whether about how, your brief about your journey to Princeton University. So if you can tell us a little bit more about that, like as in what kind of work did you do in your undergrad program, and what is it that motivated you to pick this major that you're doing currently? I think that will help some of the students understand what kind of choices they need to make or what decisions they need to take when they are confused about choosing their target area of interest.
Absolutely. And I think it's important for me to start all the way back in high school, although it was a long time ago. I was born and raised in Morocco, so I am technically an international student, so I had to go through the application process in a very similar way to a lot of your students here who may be international students. So I had to take the TOEFL, I had to take the SATs, and prepare for this application in a way that was very new to me. My parents did not go to school in the US, did not even speak English. So I had to do a lot of this work on my own. But one thing that I would recommend for students to do is obviously work with you guys because you're most well informed about how the process works. And these things keep changing year after year in terms of like what the universities are asking and whatnot. But one thing that I would say about how to stand out as an international student is to really articulate, not just through your grades, not just through the classes you've taken, IBs or A levels or this or that, but through your essay, how you are a different student from other students they may see in their international student pool. So in this comes this thought of working with you guys to brainstorm and work on making this essay one that is unique, but also one that is not cliche, right? You don't want to be sounding cliche in your essay. You want to articulate your uniqueness, how you are a unique student, how your context, the community you were brought up in, the school you went to, the teachers you had, the activities you engaged in made you the individual that you are today. You are going to be a different student from other students coming from other countries or from students coming from here in the US. So you want to be able to put all of that in conversation in your essay, in your common application. And I recommend for all students here to work with a counselor. These counselors have the experience to really help you strategize and ensure that you have all of these things put together in a way that stands out. Now, I had a lot of help too from teachers and counselors. I took my SATs, my TOEFL, prepared my essay. And then another aspect of my journey that was super important to me when coming to the US before starting at Princeton was making sure that I would receive financial aid. At Mount Holyoke College, I received a ton of financial aid, which made it possible for me to go to college here in the US. So I was very strategic about the schools I was applying to, schools that would help me financially, make it possible for me to come here to the US. So I recommend, again, working with your counselors who are able to look at your financials, your parents' financials, and help you think through which universities you will be standing out in the admission process, that they will throw money at you so that you can actually go and attend. If you are looking for financial aid, of course. Last but not least, I would say be very careful about the folks you choose to recommend you. Who are these professors or teachers or mentors you are going to choose to talk to your strengths, to your abilities? And you want to make sure that they write these letters of recommendations in a way that really highlight the type of value you'll bring to their schools. Again, I recommend working with folks at Galvanize and working with counselors so that you're able to actually select and brief these teachers and professors on how to write these letters in a way that is what admission officers are looking for here in the US or abroad, because it's very different from recommendation letters, for instance, for France or for Morocco. Like for me, those were other options I could have chosen to go into for college, and very different school systems require very different types of writing. So definitely consult with your counselors and folks who work at Galvanize to help you strategize that. So that was my first step in my journey to go to Princeton University. I had to go to undergrad. Then when I went to undergrad, I double majored in economics and French. I was interested in very different topics. I was interested in things that were politically oriented in terms of economic policies and whatnot, but I was also someone who was creative. I love to write, I love to read, but I also loved how literature had its impact on society and politics. So I ended up writing a senior thesis that was on legislation in Morocco and how it got impacted by specific artists and writers. And writing that dissertation or that thesis in my senior year, and started it my junior year actually, helped me highlight for Princeton that I was somebody who was very well-rounded. I had various interests and I was able to bring them together in creative ways. And I wrote a thesis, which was not even a requirement for graduation. So I went a little bit above and beyond. I worked with my professors, I sought their help, and I pushed myself to do something that was a little bit outside of the box and combined two different fields in one. So that definitely helped me stand out in the application process for graduate school. And it helped me stand out for the Ivy League institution that I'm in right now. And I couldn't be more grateful for my mentors and folks who helped me get here. And that's another thing I recommend to students here today, is to really seek help. Do not think that you can do this on your own. I had a lot of people look at my essays. I had a lot of people sit with me and consult with me and help me think through strategies and how to network and connect and really share my skills widely, not just through the application process, but also by sending emails to mentors, to professors, and really just connecting with people and sharing who I was as a person and as a scholar. So seek out help. That would be my biggest advice.
Thanks for a very detailed answer. I just have a couple of follow-up questions. So, since you talked about being an international student applying to the US, do you think that the smaller colleges offer better financial aid as opposed to the bigger universities?
I think so. I think for me, I was super strategic about applying to liberal arts colleges. And I was even more strategic applying to women's colleges because I knew that they were looking in helping students from other countries and really giving them the opportunity to pursue higher education here in the US. So I did work with my counselors who helped me think through the numbers, right? We had to put numbers on calculators and figure out, okay, which university gives the most financial aid to students and which universities and colleges in these specific fields I was interested in, was more interested in students from my region. So I grew up in, like I said, Morocco. So we had to look at North Africa and Middle East statistics. And I think students should look into that. Don't just think I want to go to Princeton, I want to go to Harvard and Yale. I'm just going to apply to the Ivy League institutions and that's it. That is not a smart idea. You can go to these schools as a graduate student. They will stay on your profile. You can start at a smaller university, very reputable, get an excellent education and an excellent experience, and then pursue your higher education as a graduate student in a very highly selective Ivy League institution, right? And who knows, you may get accepted to an Ivy League institution for your undergrad. That is totally doable. But just keep in mind, there are thousands and thousands of students applying from abroad. So your competition is very rigorous. So I think working with you guys at Galvanize, students should strategize for their plans. They shouldn't just aim for Ivy League institutions only. There are so many amazing smaller schools, state schools, liberal arts colleges who are able to give you world-class education, similar to the one you'd receive at Ivy League institutions, and set you up for Ivy League institution abroad afterwards. So yeah, definitely do not shoot only for one type of institution.
Yeah, that is right what you're saying, because we do, when we do applications for our students, we do look at what the universities offer, and that information is available. So we do talk about that, but I think hearing from somebody who has gone through the process will really encourage the student. I have one more question. So after you finished your bachelor's, did you directly go into a PhD program or did you do a master's?
I did directly go into my PhD program because I knew I wanted to go into academia per se, or research. And it was unusual. I have to say that not a lot of students go directly into their PhD program. I was the youngest in my department for like 3 years before other younger students eventually joined. But it is doable. And I earned my master's along the way at Princeton University. They were able to award me my master's, and now I'm going forward with my PhD. But it is possible to go straight into a PhD program, but it require a bit of work and preparation.
Yeah, and I think the thesis that you wrote in your undergrad, probably put you on a better standing with respect to the PhD program. Yeah.
Absolutely. Doing research really, really helps.
Yeah.
I definitely cannot reiterate it enough.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. Yeah, so this, I know that you already talked about this a little bit, about the 3 units that are awarded. So I just wanted to get a little more information, if you can tell us how are these credits awarded, and how is it considered as, because you said it is part of the extended division. So what does that exactly mean? Many of our students may not know that.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to explain. So any of our programs, the 4 programs I showed you earlier on the slides, are eligible to be considered for these 3 college credits that are awarded through our partnership with University of California, San Diego. Now, because you're not enrolled in the University of California, San Diego as an undergraduate, you cannot earn credits directly from the undergraduate school. Right? But they do have this thing called extended studies. So extended studies are professional studies or postgraduate studies, or if a student just goes and does one class at UCSD, that's the division, right? It's like a different department that offers students college level credits, but is not affiliated with the undergraduate school. These are just details, like administrative details, that are not super important. But all you have to keep in mind as a Lumiere student, if you finish your program and you're like, this was great, now I want to get college credits, then our program managers will help you apply for these credits. There is an additional fee you have to pay to UCSD in order for you to earn these credits so that they can validate your research. You have to finish the program successfully. You have to have had good attendance. Your mentor has to approve you for this. and you have to submit your final paper, and it has to be evaluated and validated by your program manager who is overseeing your project. So it's not like you enroll, you get these 3 credits. It's like you have to pass this exam, which is basically finishing your paper successfully. And these credits then are validated through UCSD, who also looks at your paper and says, yes, this is in standing with our requirements, and now we can give you this transcript. So you'll receive a transcript from University of California, San Diego, saying you completed a research program with Lumiere and you have earned 3 college credits. Now, when you go to college, these credits, you can share them with the registrar at that school. Some schools will say, great, we're going to take these credits and we're going to add them to your overall graduation requirement credits, right? So it can save you 1 class in 1 semester. It maybe helps you graduate early. Maybe it gives you the opportunity to take a class in a different department instead, of having to take a class in a specific department to graduate. It does not go to your major requirements, right? Schools will have requirements for your major. Let's say you want to major in political science and you did do your Lumiere research in political science. Those credits are not going to go through the 50 credits that are required by, let's say, Harvard, when they're asking you to finish 50 credits to graduate from their school with a political science degree. But they will go to your overall credits. Some schools may not accept these credits at all, which is, their prerogative, their choice. It really depends on which school and what undergraduate studies you pursue. But always submit these credits to the registrar. You never know.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
The next question is, when should I start profile building activities if I plan to secure admission to Ivy League schools or other top ranking universities? So
Yeah. Absolutely. This is a great question. And honestly, you should start as soon as you can, right? If you are in 9th grade, start now. If you are in 10th grade, start now. If you are a rising senior and you haven't done anything yet, start today. The sooner, the better. One thing I tell students is you do not have to do a lot of activities. It's not quantity that matters. It's the quality of these activities and how they really speak to who you are as a human being, as a scholar, as a student, right? So talk to your advisors at Galvanize and figure out what makes sense for me as an individual. If you are going to medical school, you want to go to medical school one day. Okay, maybe you need to volunteer at a hospital. Maybe you need to go shadow a doctor. Maybe you need to go volunteer at a nursing home. Maybe you need to seek out a summer program doing research at Lumiere for the summer in biomedical engineering or in medical sciences. You need to talk to your advisor to make a plan for the next few years, for the next few months, in order for you to actually achieve these goals. So for me, I always tell students, start early. Do not pack your schedule with 10 activities at once, right? One year you do this, the next year you do that. And then these activities eventually will bring about other opportunities in the future. So maybe you'll do your summer program with Lumiere the summer of your 10th grade. The summer of 11th grade, maybe you'll get a new research opportunity in a different type of program with a different organization that will basically open up new doors for you. So talk to your advisors, work on being strategic about the activities you engage in. Do not do activities just like because your friends are doing them. That's not usually strategic. You have to work around your goals, what you want to do. If you are someone who cares about computer science, maybe you need to start a computer science club in your school if there is no computer science club, right? You want to be that self-starter, the person who starts things in your school, in your community. If you are someone who cares about social impact, right? You want to help your direct community. And you know there is a school near you where there are smart students, but they have no access to computers, right? and you are someone who cares about technology, maybe you should fundraise and help buy 2 computers for that school and help these students get access to technological tools that can be life-changing for them. So be creative, be strategic, and think around your interests and what you want to contribute to your direct community and how that will tell the story of who you are as a human being, as a scholar, and as a self-starter. That would be my advice.
Yeah, very interesting ideas. And I think that nicely ties in with my next slide, which talks about why you should start early. Because what we have seen with our students is that to build an excellent profile, it takes time and it takes effort. It's not something that you can do overnight. So if you are in 12th grade, in the month of already in the month of July or August, it's too late for you to do any profile building because your applications are right there. So what we always tell our students is that building a profile is like fitting things into a jigsaw puzzle. So you already have some things, that are already there. You have a good GPA because you're a good student at school. You took your SATs and you have this good scores. But then you need to bring a lot more into the profile. So that's where a research project like Lumiere comes in, which gives you that solid 12-week research experience. And then there are many students who carry it forward by doing a publication, or they kind of implement it somewhere in their community if they have done a project which can be implemented. So that also takes care of it, a little bit of the social impact activities. There are also students, like Saadia said, if you did research in 1 year, then the next year you can focus on maybe getting an internship. And all of these activities that you do will nicely come together in the various essays that you have to write as part of your application process. So by the time you are ready to apply to colleges, it will be like a jigsaw puzzle that fits in perfectly and you have all the pieces together. So this is really important, and ideally you should start as early as possible. Around 8th grade or 9th grade is a good time to start, because therein, you kind of have an idea what you want to do, what you may be aspiring to do. And then getting those opportunities, you will also eventually be able to do research because you would have learned the fundamentals in school and so on. So this is very important that you start profile building as early as possible. Ideally, around the end of 8th grade, the beginning of 9th grade would be a great time to start, so that you don't pack your schedule so much. You have enough time to do things. You do one big project every year and then a few small projects, maybe some course certifications and so on, will be a good way to go about it. So what I have here, so we at Galvanize, we normally help students starting from grade 9, and we build out a nice timeline for them once they enroll. So if you enroll with us for profile building, and if you are in grade 9, we would start you out slowly because you're still, getting the hang of it. You may not yet be sure of what kind of major you want to do. You may have 3 or 4 subjects that you really like. You're not yet sure what you want to major in. So in such a case, we would give you options of what type of online courses or workshops that you can take, which will help you broaden your interest, and also it will help you understand what you're really interested in. Your school may have a lot of activities, lot of events, but you may not want to participate in all of them, because obviously you cannot participate in all of them and at the same time focus on school. So in such cases, we will help you prioritize what you need to do. We will slowly start you off with volunteering activities, because again, if you are aiming to go to undergraduate school in the US, having some kind of social impact background is very important. So you really need to make sure that you do some kind of volunteering activities. We'll also help you out with AP courses, with SAT prep, and so on. Now in grade 10, we will help you again look at electives in the school, what kind of projects you should do in school. We'll suggest some abroad summer school programs for you. Grade 11, you should take the SAT ideally. You would start preparing for the SAT from grade 10, but you can take it at the end of grade 10 or in the beginning of grade 11. Do a research project, because by now you would have the basic fundamentals that you need to carry out a research. And doing a research project with an organization like Lumiere gives you the pathway. You're not alone. You have a mentor who is guiding you on what kind of research you need to do, how to go about it, and so on. At the same time, we will also start talking to you about the admissions process. As in, you will get an idea of what type of universities you can apply. We'll slowly start talking about essays, how to brainstorm. We will brainstorm topics with you so that we can come up with nice narratives based on all the profile building activities that you did in the past 3 years. In grade 12, of course, in addition to your school work, all of these things, the activities that you do, you can never compromise on your school grades. Those are extremely important. So you have to keep up with the school grades as well as all these other activities that are needed for profile building. And grade 12, we will finalize your university shortlist. We will help you with the college essays, the recommendation letters, and so on. And then, of course, help you submit the college applications. So that is how the admissions counseling process at Galvanize, along with the profile building process works. This is a general timeline that I've given you here, so as you can see, you can start profile building as early as grade 7. It's just that whatever you do, you have to do it dedicatedly and follow through to make sure that you are able to show the admissions officers that you are actually interested in a project and not doing something just for ticking off some boxes. Okay, so before I move on and show you some of the success stories of the students that we have helped here at Galvanize, I would like to just get a quick idea about did you find the webinar? Did you find it useful? This will help us improve the content that we bring to you in the future. So please take a few minutes and answer this.
Hi, ma'am. We are done with the poll. 95% have said the session was very useful.
Yeah, thank you, Sahil. So I'm glad that most of you found it useful. Let me quickly give you a walkthrough of the students that we have helped in the past. That will also motivate you and give you an idea on what you can do, and also give you a better understanding of how we will help you in the process. Okay, so here is Sindhu. She's currently studying at NUS, which is one of the top universities in the world. She has gotten into a program for a bachelor's in biomedical engineering and design. Interesting thing that I want to point out about Sindhu is Sindhu had no plans to study abroad. She wanted to get into IIT. She was preparing for that, and then she wrote her IIT mains. And then she wasn't very sure of the grade of the rank she will get and whether she'll be able to make it to advanced. And even if she does, will she get a rank high enough to get get a program of her choice. So at that point, she decided that she's going to take the SAT as well, and also apply to a few universities abroad so that she has good options. So because of her profile, because of the kind of research projects that she had done before, the certification courses that she had done, of course, she was an excellent student at school. So all of that came together, and Sindhu got a bunch of admits. She got in NUS, of course, which is the number 8 ranked in the world. She also got an NTU. She got into a couple of universities in the UK. So it's always good to have an option and not just, have only one path. It's always good so that even if the first plan A doesn't work out for you, you have something else that you can do. The other example I have is of Raghavan. Raghavan was from APL school in Chennai. Excellent SAT score, as you can see. The interesting thing about Raghavan is he also did a research project with Lumiere while he was our student, and he looked at a project like quality of life indices, where about the southern states in India. So very interesting project, very practical project, and he did a little bit of data science, and all of that came into the project, which helped him get into a bachelor's program in data science at UCSD, which again is a top school in the US. Rishit here wanted to do a bachelor's in electrical systems. He had a good background, bunch of projects, some volunteering activities, as you can see here, and he got an admit into the University of Edinburgh. Manya here is currently doing her bachelor's at the University of Toronto. It's ranked number 25 in the world. Again, if you see the experience and the research activities that she has done, she has been awarded a certificate of merit for the performance. So she was an IEO champion. She has done a bunch of different programs and was a very active participant in a lot of activities at the school. So in addition to receiving multiple admits from the University of Toronto, she also received a scholarship of about $100,000, which really, made the decision for her to attend that school as her best choice. Vishweshwaran here is from Coimbatore. He has again a good SAT score, a good TOEFL score. He was really interested in robotics during his high school years, so he's done a bunch of robotic certification programs. He also did a Lumiere project with a mentor from Princeton University, and he's also been a part of a bunch of different programs, online programs. He's currently finishing up his bachelor's at NTU, again a top ranked university like NUS. He's doing his bachelor's in aerospace engineering. Niharika is from a school in Bangalore. She again has a bunch of different projects. Her ambition was to get into aerospace or anything related to space. So, she during her high school year, she did a lot of certification programs with, as per our suggestion. She did a bunch of certification programs in astronomy. She was a NASA scientist for the day. So she's, had been doing a few programs. In addition to that, she also had a well-rounded profile. She was learning classical dance for a few years, and she managed to continue that through her high school years. And she went into University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, which again is a number 12 in the public schools, and she's currently in the third year of her aerospace engineering program. Tilotama here was always very good at writing. She was creative, and her aim was to do a bachelor's in English. And based on her profile, based on the activities that she did, she got into Durham University for a BA in English. We also have a few parents who, are very happy with the outcomes for their students, and you can look at some of the feedback that they have given us. So even though many times when we talk to people, they're a little hesitant because our entire program of counseling happens online. But you don't have to worry, we have a very solid program where we are able to guide you perfectly well, even though it's an online program and there is no face-to-face interaction. So you don't have to worry about that. We will help you out with the process. Just like Saadia said, it is an overwhelming process if you have to do it by yourself. It's not that you can't do it by yourself, but you have to invest a lot of time to make sure you're making the right decisions, to make sure that you're shortlisting the right college, and that your essays are on par. As in, you need to make sure that every aspect of your profile has been brought out in the various essays that you have to write. So on an average, if you're applying to 10 schools in the US, 10 universities in the US, you would end up writing about 30 to 40 essays, and not all the essays are going to be straightforward and simple. So in such a case, it would really help if you have a professional person helping you out, somebody whom you can brainstorm essays with, who is able to guide you and tell you, yes, this is good, this should be included, this is not there, and those kind of things. So it really helps if you have some kind of a counselor that you can go and rely on to keep you on track. So that is also the kind of feedback that we have got from some of the parents whom we have worked with. So here, just to give you a quick overview of how the process would work, we would help you. This is just for the admissions part. But, if profile building, like I said, based on your profile, the entire activities would be customized for you. Similarly, with the test prep, the SAT will be personalized classes where we would actually have an instructor guide you through the process, teach you the concepts and so on. When you come in for admissions, we will help you out with the shortlisting process. We will brainstorm the essays, help you write the essays. After the essay part is done, we will help you with the application process. And then if you need a visa for the country, we will also help you with that. Okay, I have a couple of questions in the chat box, so I'm quickly going to go through those. So I have a question from Sidhu, who's asked if we are going to learn or explore strengthening our profile or portfolio. So in this session, I won't be able to give you specifics on what you need to do to strengthen your profile, because like I said, the profile building activities are customized based on what you have, what you are interested in doing, what you want to study. And so it has to be a customized one, which we will give you when you join the program. But if you would like to just get an idea about how to go about the process, then you can schedule a call with us and we will get on a call and give you some pointers. Hemashri has asked, is it possible to do research in the field I'm interested in, which is different from the undergraduate course I pursue? Yes, it is possible for you to do the research in any field that you're interested. It need not necessarily be the field that you will pursue in your undergrad, but it is always good if you are able to connect it to somehow, the major that you want to do. So for example, we have a student who did bachelor's in sports management. Now he was a avid sports player. He was, into a lot of sports, but he didn't really want to pursue that as a career. So he did a project where it was still related to sports, and he did a data science project where he did an analysis of, scores and things like that with an organization. So he was able to show that, use his sports interest as one of the motivating factors there, in addition to, studying something different. So he was interested in data science. So combining the two was always is always a good option. And then you can find a program that will again help you, get the best of both worlds kind of things. I have one more question from Ojasvi. Suppose I complete my MBBS here in India and wish to do my PG at Harvard. Is that possible? And if so, what will I need in my profile to apply at that time? So if you complete your MBBS and if you want to do your PG in Harvard, I'm assuming you want to stay in the medicine field. In that case, you will have to write a separate bunch of exams. You'll have to be matched with a medical school over there, and only then you will be able to go and pursue your postgraduate over there. So MBBS doing here is a different, you can still go. It's not that you can't go. You just have to make sure that you clear those exams, the USMLE exams that you have to take in the US to be able to practice medicine or even study medicine over there. Okay. Okay, so I hope all of you found this session useful, and I would like to thank Saadia for joining the session and giving you all of this information. If you don't have any other questions, we will wrap up. But before we wrap up, my colleague has posted a profile evaluation form. Please take a couple of minutes to fill that up. And then, we will talk to you, guide you on the profile, give you some pointers on where to start and how to start. And that session is entirely free. So thank you again for attending. I hope all of you found it useful.